Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a case, as you can see by the title, about Madeleine McCann and the truth that a lot of people are speculating about the case and who the real suspect is. I'm going to go in a little bit of detail about the brief overview of Madeleine McCann disappearance case, just in case you've been living under a rock. I'm going to talk about the new suspect, the German Christian Buckner. Then I'm going to talk about the conspiracy theory, or a lot of people think just a theory, just a fact, people who should be looked into a lot further by the police, that I've seen circulating on social media and things like that. As I've done my own research and I've compiled it all into this video so you can see it as one coherent piece of evidence instead of just having to do the research for yourself. But I do urge you to do your own research. As you start looking into it yourself, you kind of piece it together and it makes a lot more sense. So if this video doesn't persuade you that it's a valid theory, then do your own research. I'll leave some links down below of what I found and emails and things like that. Also, I've got some really exciting news, but I'm going to talk about it at the end of my video, so stay tuned, watch the whole video, don't skip the video, watch the whole video. So, roll the video. So if you've been living under a rock for the past 13 years, then on the 3rd of May 2007, Madeleine McCann, a 3-year-old little girl, went missing from a resort in Praia da Luz, which is in Portugal, where she was on holiday with her parents and her other families that the parents were friends with. This case would then become the most heavily reported missing persons case in modern history, described by the Daily Telegraph. The reason it was so controversial was because the time when Madeleine went missing, she was actually alone in the apartment bedroom with her 2 younger 2-year-old siblings, as her parents and the parents of the other families who they went on holiday with were at a tapas bar 55 metres away from them. Each parent of the family was taking it in turns to go check on all of the group's children. It was Cait's turn at 10 p.m, and that's when she discovered Madeleine to be missing. Also, a video from The Sun shows trained cadaver dogs searching the apartment and alerting to different areas where the dogs can smell blood or human remains, that sort of thing, which then obviously linked the disappearance onto the McCann parents. So I put in a video of the dogs here so that the handler can explain a bit more about what it means and stuff, because I'm not very clued up on that sort of thing.
The second dog that we've seen work today is the crime scene dog, Keela. She will only indicate to me when she's found human blood. This point over here, where the victim recovery dog was indicated, as you saw on the video, the crime scene dog was actually giving me what we call a passive indication, where she freezes in this spot here, which would indicate to me that there is some human blood there.
Throughout the 13 years that she's been missing, there's been very many speculations and theories and different suspects and new evidence being found. But as of the 4th of June 2020, German police have identified a new suspect after 13 years, 43-year-old Christian Buckner. The evidence being that he has been investigated since 2017 after a friend reported to the police that he was making disturbing comments whilst watching the 10-year anniversary coverage of Madeleine being missing. So after 10 years, they do like an anniversary of it to re-jog people's memories, so people might have thought of something so that they can remember to get in touch with police, and it might open new leads, and in this case obviously it did. However, German prosecutor Hans Christian Walters, I don't think that's how you say it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it, so sorry if that's wrong, has been under scrutiny as he alerted the press that Madeleine was in fact dead, that he had concrete evidence that his suspect, Christian Buckner, had murdered Madeleine. However, Cait and Jerry have since come out saying that they've not even received a letter saying this, that they found out that their own daughter, after 13 years of being missing, is dead, simply just from watching the news at home. However, the German prosecutor has responded by saying that he has in fact sent a letter, however he has no way of tracking whether it's got there or not, but surely the McCanns would respond to him and say, well, why is our daughter dead? But he has said since he cannot explain the evidence, he cannot state the evidence or say what it is, he just has concrete evidence. The main piece of evidence against Buckner is that last year he had been convicted of the rape of a 97-year-old woman in Pradeluge, which happened in 2005, but he's only just been convicted of it, which was obviously 2 years before Madeleine went missing, and where it took place, it was actually only half a mile from where Madeleine was abducted. Half a mile. Also, due to phone records that they found, Buckner received a phone call on the night of Madeleine's disappearance, which placed him within a mile of the apartment on the night that Madeleine McCann went missing. He lived in a farmhouse in Pradeluge, but after Madeleine went missing, he shortly moved out and went back to Germany and he got his friend to change the registration plate of his car and put it in his friend's name. Not he got his friend to pretend that Buckner's car was his car. Does that make sense? I don't, you know what I mean? Buckner has 17 convictions across Europe, so from Portugal and Germany, because he's moved quite a lot between the two, including sex offences against children. So when I was doing some research, I found a podcast which is from The Guardian Australia, and it's called Full Story, and it just briefly talked about the case, and it's presented by Rachel Humphreys, and she's interviewing Esther Adley, who was a reporter. I believe she's still a reporter, but she reported on the case in Portugal just as it had happened. And during the thing that I picked up the most on is Rachel asked her, would you have expected the police investigation might have been able to identify him as a key suspect earlier on in the case? Obviously she's referring to due to his past convictions of what he had in Germany. To which Esther Adley responded, I think he should have been one of the people looked at, as they should have looked at known sex offenders. The Portuguese police could argue, she says, that they didn't know, and the reason that they wouldn't know that he was a sex offender is because he had never been convicted of a sex crime before this point, so they would have no reason to look into him. He's never convicted anything like that, which she then goes on to say that it was 2007, they could have looked into his German criminal history. However, it would say things like burglary and drug charges, which obviously would not link him to a missing child case. But this is where the conspiracy theory comes in. If the Portuguese police are to look into now convicted sex offenders that were in the area, maybe they should look into Clement Freud. I don't know if that's how you say it, but we're going to go with it. My pronunciation is not very good. I've googled it to see, but yeah. So if you don't know who he is, let me tell you. So he was a Liberal MP from 1973 to 1987, and he was knighted in 1987. He was actually friends with Cait and Jerry McCann, and in Cait's book that she wrote titled Madeleine McCann, she said that herself and her husband were invited to his home several weeks after the disappearance. Why would an MP want to invite the McCann parents over to speak to them or offer support? And it's because, in my theory, a lot of the times it makes them look like they're helping. If you see any children or missing persons cases or whatever, often the suspect or the person who's done it is often in the search party, making it look like they're helping, making it look like they're on their side. They're like get really close to the parents or the family or friends of the victim to make it look like they're really helping so that they'd never suspect them, because then they gain trust from them. However, in 2016, he was accused of abusing 2 young girls between the 1940s and the 1970s, but there's said to be a lot more. However, they've not been reported yet, as the girls don't feel like that they have the strength to come out yet and speak about it. And the 2 girls that did speak about it, one of them has remained anonymous. So that just shows the kind of hold that he had on these girls, and to the point where they only spoke out about this years after he died. They didn't feel the courage to speak about it for 60 plus years. So, if you remember me telling you that Cait and Jerry McCann frequented his house, now you might think, but didn't they stay in Portugal for months afterwards? They did in fact do that, and it was because he owned a villa 1/3 of a mile away from where Madeleine disappeared. So you can see just how close the 2 of them are. Very close. But it's okay, because he was in the UK at the time that Madeleine disappeared. But John and Tony Podesta were in fact in his villa at the time. So why does it matter that John and Tony Podesta were staying in this villa of a convicted paedophile 1/3 of a mile away from where a little girl went missing? Well, let's just look at a picture of John and Tony Podesta next to the official police sketches from 2 eyewitnesses, the Smiths, who were a couple who saw a man carrying a small child, which fit Madeleine's description perfectly on the night that she was disappeared. They are the same people. If you was to find anyone else and put them next to them pictures, them sketches, they would not look that identical. But that's not all. So the FBI came out with some paedophile code words that are known to be used amongst paedophiles to message other paedophiles, but in codes that it can't be, traced, or it's not credible because they could be talking about something completely different. So WikiLeaks leaked some of John Podesta's emails. Now, if you search up John Podesta in WikiLeaks and any of the paedophile code words, you will find hundreds of emails. And obviously sometimes they're getting emails from, I don't know, pizza companies, whatever, or Hillary Clinton had a pizza party on the 10th of April, I think it was 2016, so obviously, pizza party, pizza will be used there, makes sense. However, let's just take a look at this one, which I find the most interesting. So there's an email from sterntd@state.gov to John Podesta, and the subject is "Man, I miss you," and the email reads, "The next 3 months are going to be rougher internally than in Beijing." Now, I don't know what happened in Beijing. "Between the 7th and 1600, no fun. Hope you're doing okay. I'm dreaming about your hot dog stand in Hawaii." Now, why would John Podesta own a hot dog stand? But I thought, it's credible, maybe he does. But when you Google it, nothing comes up. But this email from Hillary Clinton, which is from derek.jeffrey@hillaryclinton.com, saying, "Hi everyone, please send me your lunch orders and I'll pick everything up. Thanks." To which Hillary responded, "A hot dog with no bun. Thanks, H." Now who has a hot dog with no bun? That would just be a sausage, would it not? Yes, it would. So, do you see what I mean about the context just not fitting in? Code words. So what does hot dog mean? Another interesting one that involves the word pizza, as I mentioned before, is from Doug at presidentclinton.com. Now this is from Doug Brand, who, if you don't know, is an American businessman who has said publicly that he has pushed his clients to donate millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. Now, if you don't know about all the companies that have donated to the Clinton Foundation and how corrupt they've found to be, then I'll put some links down below and you can do your own research on that. But this email from Doug Brand to Comcast, another business that donates to the Clinton Foundation, Justin at presidentclinton.com. Now, I don't know who that is, but obviously he works for Bill Clinton. Huma Aberdeen, which is Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman, as you've seen probably in all of her press conferences and stuff like that. John Podesta, the Podesta email, and Zach Schwartz of Shangri-La Entertainment. That is owned by Steve Bing, who is a major Democratic Party donor, so donates to Hillary Clinton's party. The email, the subject of the email is pizza.jpg. Now this image is an image that I'll insert in here so you can just see. So it's of two women and a little girl eating a slice of pizza. Now what does pizza mean? Yeah, that's what pizza means. Doug said he wrote the message of the email of the subject of this picture saying, as John says, it doesn't get better than this. I mean, you can just, I'll link this email down below and you can just do your own research. So who are these girls in the picture? The two women are Laura Ling and Una Lee, I believe that's how you say it, who was arrested in North Korea whilst reporting on sex trafficking. They were freed and obviously took this picture. However, this email shows that they have linked the word pizza with sex trafficking themselves. They have proved that that's what that code word means by titling a picture of people reporting sex trafficking crimes pizza, and they are eating a slice of pizza. So now, that's not good enough for you. Who went to go and pick these women up after they were freed? That's right, Bill Clinton and Steve Bing in a private jet. And then email about it saying, as John says, it doesn't get much better than this. But if we're still not all caught up with the code words, we're still not convinced, let me show you this one, because you can see the problems with all of this. So this email in particular is from Herb Sandler, who is one of the founders of Sandler Foundation. Let me just read you Sandler Foundation's About Us page. Our mission: we invest in strategic opportunities and exceptional leaders that seek to improve the rights, opportunities and well-being of others, especially the most vulnerable and disadvantaged. And this was the email that he sent to John and Mary Podesta. The subject was cheese. Cheese meaning, yeah. Mary and John, I think you should give notice when changing strategies which have long been in place. I immediately realised something was different by the shape of the box. I contemplated who would be sending me something in a square-shaped box. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauce, it was a lovely, tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. I am awaiting the return of my children and grandchildren from their holiday travels so that we can demolished. Thank you so much. Hope you and your gang are well. I miss you both. Best of wishes for a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Herb. P.S. Do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than on pasta? So let's just talk about this email. I'm gonna put the code words up there just while I'm reading it, so you can just infer. Now, why would he be so confused about getting a package which is a box in the shape of a square as opposed to any other shape? Why would it matter? But that's not the weirdest thing. Why would you send pasta and sauce, so pasta with sauce, like made pasta with sauce, in a square box and then mail it to someone? Mail it in a box through the post, pasta and sauce. Why would he be expecting pasta and sauce but then was happy to get cheese? And then he's asking about playing dominoes on cheese or pasta. Do you see what I mean about the words just not fitting in with the context of anything? There is no normal context that this email could be put in. You would not send a box of cheese or a box of pasta in the mail to anyone. So I've read quite a few of the emails and, explained them, or tried to. So I'm going to leave the link down below to the emails so you can read them for yourself and whatever. But I urge you to do some more research, because this video would be 14 hours long if I just read every single one of the emails that had one of the code words in it. But if that's not convincing enough, let's look at some of the artwork that is in the Podesta house. They quite clearly display child sex abuse and abusing children and tying up children. The most disturbing one, in my opinion, is the fact that Tony Podesta owns a golden statue called the Ark of Hysteria, which is a statue of one of the Polaroids took by Jeffrey Dahmer of one of his victims, as when he murdered them he liked to put them in weird positions and then take Polaroids of them. And Tony Podesta has a statue of one of the shape of the body of that victim. I'm just gonna insert the picture. Many people have spoke out about things like this and have ended up dead. I'll leave a link to a video down below that talks all about all the people that have ended up dead by talking about this. Also, every single company in this picture that I'll insert here has had their CEO step down in 2020, all consecutively after each other. Now why would that happen unless all of this is about to come out? But obviously this is just a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's not my theory, it's just what I've researched, and I've collected all the evidence together. Like all the pieces together, and I'm just inferring from everything that I've compiled together. So obviously, Clement Freud being a paedophile and allowing John and Tony Podesta to stay in his villa, who have very disturbing child sex art in their house and emails with hundreds of paedophile code words used out of context at the exact same time that a 3-year-old little girl goes missing, and there has been no breakthroughs for 13 years, doesn't create a valid interest for the police to investigate. I mean, who could possibly have that much power over the police? Maybe the chairman of a charity set up by the former President of the United States. So I've just compiled all of this together, and it's a theory. Many people share the same theory. It's obviously, it might be fact, it might not be, it's not proven, probably never will be, because when you have that much power, who is going to question it? No one. But I think this will come out soon, and I really, really do urge you to do your own research. If you don't believe this, and if you don't agree with any of my points, then just Google it, go to the links that I've put down below, and just read them for yourself, and just infer like I have, because when you start reading, you can't stop reading, and it's very disturbing. It's very, very disturbing. That's the video. That's the theory. Obviously, the theory of John and Tony Podesta does not in any way discredit the suspect, Christian Buckner, as he's probably just as much as a suspect as John and Tony Podesta, in my opinion, as if there's evidence, and the German prosecutors want a saliva sample to be redone so they can retest the evidence to hopefully find someone who's done this after 13 years. But yeah, the links will all be down in the description below, so please check them out. This is a bit of a dark kind of subject, but you know, it's something that needed to be talked about, as I've seen a lot of it in the media and a lot of it on Facebook and stuff like that. So I thought I'd just compile it all together, give it to you as one video that you could watch coherently and understand. Also, the exciting news that I was talking about in the beginning of the video, my intro, this is the exciting news. So one of my YouTube friends, if you will, who I've met through X Academy, who's called Odyssey Explore, with just an X, not an E. I'll link his channel down below. He's starting a conspiracy theory, just a theory kind of podcast, which I hopefully will be on, probably to talk about this or other things, whatever. So I'll leave a link down below because he's just done an intro of it, and if it's something that you'd like to watch, if you really like this video and you want to watch more, then feel free to click the link and watch the podcast, and then watch the further podcast because it's going to be really interesting. So click the link down below and let him know that I sent you, give him a subscribe, a like, and watch the further podcasts because it's going to be really interesting and you're going to want to watch them. So yeah, please subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and check out my other videos, it really does help me out. I'll leave a link to my Instagram down below, and I'll put my username there. And please follow me on Instagram because I post when I'm going to be posting and that sort of thing, so that you never miss a video, or you know what's coming next, whether you want to watch it or not. So subscribe, turn your post notifications on so that you never miss a video. I'll leave a link to one of my other videos up there, one of the two, I can't remember. Please subscribe if you like these kind of videos, let me know. Thanks for watching, I'll see you on Friday, bye.